Hi everybody, this is Levi Clay and I'm back again to do another little thought piece video, this time addressing some of the educational concepts presented in a recent Janek Gwizdala video. Now when I do refuting videos like this, people often misinterpret the point. It's not about attacking the person in question. This one's certainly not about attacking Janek Gwizdala because he's a fantastic teacher, fantastic player, and he presents a lot of absolutely excellent ideas. It's just to encourage people that watch these videos to think critically about things and to not let things get you down. This video in particular, where Janek talks about never slowing things down when transcribing them, is there's a lot of merit in what he's saying. It's a very good thing to put out there, but when that much hyperbole is dealt, it can leave people confused. I've had students get in touch with me and seen comments on his videos where they're actually quite demotivated, and I know the intention of Janek's videos is to motivate you to become better. It's to teach you, it's to help you, to educate you. So when students come to me and they are demotivated, actually feeling quite bad about themselves, feeling that they've been cheating, it gets to me. So I like to present counter information to just encourage students like that to know that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but to really dig into what Janek is saying and take the benefits from what he's saying rather than beating yourself up about it. So Janek's basic message is the idea that you should never ever slow things down when you are transcribing them, and this is a great idea, but it doesn't apply all of the time. Now, he has some great examples. He talks about someone transcribing George Benson and says that if you can't transcribe George Benson, maybe you need to listen to more vocabulary of the players that he's influenced by, i.e. the bot players like Gillespie and Parker and that players of that ilk, shall we say. And of course there's merit to that. If you are very familiar with the playing of Parker and Dizzy, then when it comes to transcribing George Benson, you are going to hear a lot of those phrases and ideas but played at faster tempos. So that's a great way of getting to grips with George's style, but it's not a surefire way to get everything that George has down. And also, you could kind of make the argument that by saying, well, don't transcribe the George stuff, transcribe the slower versions of the George stuff, is that not to a degree slowing something down? Is that not accepting that I can slow this down by listening to a slower version of it and transcribing that? I mean, this is a bit of a silly argument and it's not a point that I really hold, but if someone were to make an argument like that, I don't know if I'd necessarily disagree with them. What Janek is saying essentially is the more you transcribe slow things, the better your ear will get at speed at picking out these ridiculously fast ideas and hearing them in more detail. That's what I, as a professional transcriber, get from my transcription skills. I've been transcribing professionally now for about 7 years. It's been my my main source of income for 7 years, and I've been transcribing every day for many hours for, I don't know, 11 years now maybe, and I love it. It's something that I enjoy, and it means that my ear hears music in a lot more detail than I used to. I have students, shall we say, on my Patreon page. We have a group, and I help them out with their transcription work, trying to help them improve their ears, giving them pointers and things like that. And I have guys that will slow things down to like 40% speed, 25% speed, and still not actually be able to pick out what the notes are. And this isn't something that's massively wrong with their technique of what they're doing. It's that their ear still needs to develop quite a lot, and listening to things at full speed isn't magically going to make that work for them. We have to accept the fact, or Janek should accept the fact, that he's a prodigy. He's taken to everything with unbelievable levels of skill. He's a awesome musician, and things come easier to some people rather than others. I don't believe in this idea of natural talent. Of course, Janek was worked in the same way that I've worked at transcription, but I took to it quite naturally. It made a lot of sense when I started doing it. So the counter argument that I'd like to make, that I really actually think stands quite well, is I'm doing some transcriptions at the moment for DC Music School, Dennis Chang's school. Great website, teaching all manner of gypsy influence stuff and up-tempo swing stuff. And when we look at something like this that I'm being asked to transcribe because the playing floats over the beat so much, you take something from that. Now he's really floating. Yeah, Now, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't picking up a fair amount of information. I am hearing phrases, things that I know, but not things that I can hear and say with 100% confidence that this is what he's doing. I'm going to write it out, boom, there you go, let's publish it in a way that someone can pay for it. Because I don't feel that I've got that. But there's definitely a lot of detail that I'm picking up. So, he's playing at 320 BPM there. Now, why is there not an argument that you could transcribe players that play in this style? It reminds me of Jimmy Rosenberg, actually. If you transcribe some Jimmy Rosenberg stuff at 260 BPM, somehow that's okay. That's morally or philosophically correct. This solo is at 260 BPM, so I'm going to transcribe it at 260 BPM. Great, cool. So what's wrong with taking this solo and slowing it down so it's at the equivalent speed? How is that now somehow different? The argument of not slowing it down to 20 BPM, I can see a case for that. But if your argument and Janek's argument is that by slowing things down, you create less challenge for yourself and therefore you get less benefit from it. And I'm not going to disagree with that. That's true. Transcribing something at a faster tempo will be a better workout for your ears and therefore you will gain more from it. But the argument that I would make is that when you slow things down, yes, you're getting less benefit, but not no benefit at all. Your long-term goal should always be to slow things down as little as possible, absolutely. Because by slowing things down, if you take things too slow, you often start justifying. You start going, well, I'm hearing that note and it must be in beat one because that way it fits in my understanding of how he's likely to have played this. And when you start going down that path of, well, this is how it's likely that he did it, you're not really transcribing anymore. You're not listening to what's been played and then writing it as it's been played. You're making assumptions and justifications and things like that. But so the real argument is, if that's Janek's point, if we acknowledge that this piece at 320 BPM is very difficult to transcribe, you're getting a mega workout by transcribing this at 320 BPM versus transcribing an up-tempo bebop solo that's maybe played at 250 BPM, shall we say. So why not, when you're transcribing that solo that's at 250 BPM, why not speed it up? Why not take that transcription at 250, that song at 250 BPM and speed it up to 320 BPM? Make your life harder. You're putting weights on, as it were. You're making it harder, therefore you'll get more benefit from it. Technically, while it's true, while what I'm saying there is true, it's also ridiculous, isn't it? You wouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you make your life more difficult than it needs to be? I'm transcribing this Sweet Georgia Brown and I will slow it down because I need to, in order to present the client with as much detail as possible. And the client, in this case DC Music Schools, wants that level of detail because they themselves have clients that will be purchasing this as a product and they want accuracy. And accuracy is the most important thing for me in the transcription world, the professional transcription world, should I say. Anyway, what do you guys think about that? Have you anything to say? Drop a comment below if you do. Hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. If you are unfamiliar with me and what I do, you can also check me out on Patreon. You'll see that in the top left now. You can check out another one of my videos right up here in the top right, or you can just hit that button in the bottom left and subscribe to my channel. That's also appreciated. Please do take the chance to get involved because I do like chatting with you guys. Always fun. So peace out, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.